Another market prediction fulfilled. Remember last time in my last video, I mentioned that I was getting into a sell trade on Euro AUD. Let's go to the charts. Okay, so last time I mentioned that I was getting into a trade somewhere around here, and I was expecting price to come back down and fill this gap here, okay, to fill this imbalance here. Okay, now I will show you what price did. I'll just enable history. Now this is where I entered. This was so I entered one trade here. I will just get the crosshair. I entered the first trade here, and then the second trade here. Can you see how my second trade was precisely where the market turned? Of course, I didn't know the market was going to turn there. However, the market usually turns at my second or third entry. And that's from experience and back testing. The market usually turns at that point, except it's going against me, of course. So the market turned at that point and went well in my favor. I added a couple more trades. However, remember I once said in one of my old videos, that you never really get over trading incorrectly. You never really get over leveraging. What you do with experience is you learn to better manage it. There is no trader, and if any trader is telling you that they never overtrade or they never revenge trade or they never go on tilt, they are actually lying. Okay, there's no trader that doesn't do this. However, the experienced traders like me, we do it way less often, and whenever we do it in a calculated way. Okay, so like I was saying, I entered these trades. All these trades were in my trading plan. However, by the time I reached, what was it now? By the time I reached here, I think it was the fourth entry, I had used up all the risk I was supposed to use up. So the last two, which were the last two entries, which were this and this, were actually not in my trading plan. Those I entered just because the trade was doing extremely well. Now, of course, by the time I entered these, I had already brought all the other trades to break even. But I entered these at what was it? It was a 10th. The risk on these two was a 10th of my normal risk, because I knew things, at the end of the day, no one knows what the market is going to do 100%. I knew price could still reverse against me. So I made the risk on these two very small. I made it a 10th of my normal risk. And of course, price went, okay, I made it a 10th of my normal risk, but I made the stop loss very close. So when I entered here, my stop loss was somewhere around here. Okay, because if I lost the trades, it wasn't going to be anything much. But if it reached my take profit, it was going to be a lot bigger than what I was risking. And that's what happened. All of them reached my take profit here and closed. Now, the reason they didn't all close at the same time was because they reached my take profit during CPI. And during CPI, the spread, because it was a sell trade, the spread increased by a large margin. Okay, so even though it had hit my take profit, it didn't close. Okay, so it didn't close because the ask was actually still higher than my take profit. Okay, so I had to close these manually during the CPI news. Of course, it eventually went further down, so I could have left it, but I don't trade that way. Once price reaches my take profit, I close the trade. It's as simple as that. I'm not greedy to, try and see if it will go hit it again. Nope. Because I've had instances in the past where it reversed back upwards. And then I was hoping hoping and praying that it would go back down to my take profit. So that's what happened. However, while my sell trades were getting closer to their take profit, I placed a buy limit further down because I expected price to bounce back up and go fill another imbalance. Now, the imbalance I expected it to fill was this imbalance here. Okay. Now, what do you think happened? After price filled my take profit, it started to bounce, at which point I entered a buy trade. Okay, so I currently am in a buy trade and price is bouncing up. Now, price, I sort of expect price to come down a little again, come down a little, maybe because I've actually placed another buy limit here, because I expect price to pick up my buy limit and then bounce back up to my take profit. Now, my take profit is all the way up here. Okay. But again, price might not go down to take my buy limit because there's actually no reason for it to go down. It's closed up all the gaps it created, except for another gap that's further down. Now, price might go back, go further down to close that gap before going back up. But again, I don't know what price is going to do. I don't know 100% what the market will do. What I know to a very high degree is what the market will do in certain circumstances, which is around which I have created my strategy. Okay, so prices, I expect price, the prediction for Euro AUD is price will go up to fill this imbalance here. That's the prediction. Okay, I will be back in another video to show you whether that prediction was fulfilled or not. Now, that's for Euro AUD. Now, there's another prediction for GBP JPY. My prediction is that price is going to come down and fill this imbalance. There's a lot of imbalance here that needs to be filled. Now, price doesn't just go down to fill imbalance because there's an imbalance. There are certain things that need to happen for a confirmation to exist that price is going to fill an imbalance. Okay. Now I actually should already be in this trade because a setup has triggered already. However, because I'm already in another trade, like I've mentioned before, I tend to just wait for the best price possible. So I have a sell limit on GBP JPY here, and I'm hoping price goes up. Price is getting close now, but I'm hoping price goes up and picks my sell limit and then goes back down. Okay. It might do that, it might not do that. If price continues going, if price reverses back down and goes to my take profit without me in the trade, I'm totally fine with it because I'm in another trade. If I wasn't in another trade, then I would have entered this trade by now. Okay. Before I continue, I'll just mention that in the Euro AUD trade, so in all these trades combined, when they closed at my take profit, what this gave me was 55% return. So my account balance grew by 55%. This is the power of trading base hits. This is the power of trading with low reward to risk. This is the power of trading with high win rates and low reward to risk. And like I've said before, you can risk bigger than you would if you had a high reward to risk but a low win rate. Okay, now this gave me 55% on my account. My account just grew by 55%. Now, these trades don't happen every day. Okay, for example, these trades have been open for around 2 weeks, which was a long time because normally it tends to be a few days to a week. But this was open for around 2 weeks. But again, what you need to be focused on is the return on your account. Okay, so so that's my prediction for Euro AUD and GBP JPY. I will be back in the next video to tell you what the result is. Now, of course, you can monitor the charts and see for yourself whether my prediction is going to come true or not. But so far, all my predictions have come true. I expect it to not come true at some point, but so far, all my predictions have come true. Like I've mentioned in the past, if you're struggling, if you've been trading for a while and you just haven't been able to make it work, if you just haven't been able to make it work, like I struggled for 7 years, if you just haven't been able to make it work, then you need a mentor. And the mentors that are out there, for some reason, all they're after is your money. All they're after is popularity and to get as much money as possible from their students. You need a mentor that will hold your hand, that will be interested in your success. That's what you need, a mentor that will hold your hand, not a mentor that will put you on a course, not a mentor that will give you a course to go through. Courses do not work. Courses do not work, except for a very few, a very select few. What works for the majority is mentorship. The problem with mentorship is that it's usually expensive. But it's only with hindsight you realize that after you've lost all your prop firm accounts, after you've paid so much for prop firm accounts and you've lost so much in your live accounts, it's with hindsight you then realize, you know what, I should have gone with a mentor. But by that time it's too late because you've already lost multiples of what you would have paid a mentor. I am saying be smart from the beginning. Be smart right from the start. Go with a mentor that will hold your hand. Go to the description in this video, click on the link that will get you on my calendar where you can book a discovery call, a free discovery call with me to determine whether a mentorship would be right for you with me. If you get on a mentorship with me, it's going to take 3 months to get you to profitability because, again, like I've mentioned, I will scrutinize your call. I will scrutinize everything you do in trading and ensure that you reach profitability in 3 months. And like I've mentioned, I will link my proprietary software to your trading account such that you cannot go on tilt. You cannot revenge trade. The idea behind this is to get you to profitability in 3 months. That's the whole idea, which is why I said you need a mentor that will work with you and hold your hand. See you in the next video.